Oh my gosh, look at all those bubbles. They're so pretty. Shut the door, I'm not heating the whole damn neighborhood. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Old Man Gamer Network. I am Combat Carl, and today we are going to talk about bubbles. Bubbles are a big deal. If you don't think you're a big deal, well, you're wrong. So we're going to talk about what a bubble is. We're going to talk about how to fund your bubbles, what we call the bubble fund. And at the very end, we're going to talk very briefly about what to do until you can afford to stay bubbled. So first off, what is a bubble? Technically, it's known as a truce agreement. If we go to the store, if I can find my mouse, there we go. If we go to the store, if we go to items, if we go to war, and we scroll down, we will find the truce agreements, also known as bubbles. An 8-hour one will cost you 600 gems. A 24-hour will cost you 1,000. A 3-day will cost you 2,500. Mine is grayed out because I've already made a purchase today of a 3-day truce agreement. And if you got the big bucks, 50 grand will get you a 7-day truce agreement. These all have pros and cons. There is a cost versus convenience dilemma here on how you spend your cash, spend your gems. If you are PvPing a lot, if your bubble is going up and down and up and down and up and down, you're gonna probably have a whole stack of these 8-hour truce agreements. If you are early in the game, like a lot of us are, and you're doing a lot of farming, a lot of resource gathering, then this 3-day is going to be probably where you're at, because you're probably not dropping your bubble a lot, because you got no reason to do that right now. You're just trying to get stuff so that you can build your city, so that you can fund your technology, your researching, because those are the two things that are going to make or break you as a player. This is where you can purchase those. I will caution you on something. There's another way that you can get these. If you click on your main city and you go up here to City Buff, you can purchase a truce agreement from there. The thing is, when you do that, it instantly activates. If I buy this 24-hour truce agreement here, it's going to cancel my fresh 3-day truce agreement and replace it with a 24-hour bubble, which, I'm not a smart man, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. So if you're in an emergency, if you got a flashing red screen that you're being scouted, then you can click here, you can click here, you can click here, hit the purchase button, and you're there. And that's the only time that I would ever use this feature. Normally you'll have a stack of these. So the bubble protects you and your subordinate cities from being attacked and scouted. So we've got this unbubbled subordinate city, and if we click on this, it gives us the option to scout, and it also gives us the option to attack. And scouting is just as bad as punching somebody in the face. You're basically broadcasting your intentions to attack this person. So if you scout somebody and they decide to hit you back, it's kind of what you get. So so the bubble allows you to not be attacked and to not be scouted. This guy has got a bubble up, and if I click on him, I don't have those two options. I don't have scout and I don't have attack. So if you are under a bubble, no one can do that to you. The question is, does this person have 10 minutes left on their bubble, or do they have 6 days? Maybe they went on vacation and they're lounging around in Aruba somewhere. And you don't know how long that bubble's up. Or you can spend gems 500 gems for a Truce Agreement Informant. Make sure your watchtower is at level 19 or else it won't work. And then you can find out how long their bubble is still going to be up. They will get a notice that you have scouted them. They'll get the flashing red screen, and they'll probably spit their coffee all over the place, or their drink with a little umbrella, since they're lounging about on the beach in Aruba somewhere. Coffee. That is what a bubble is, and that is what a bubble does. And the reason that we call it a bubble is because it looks like a soap bubble. I've heard it referred to as a shield, not very often. Truce agreement takes too long to type, so bubble is what we call it. So what's the issue here? The issue here is that they cost money, and where this comes into play is many servers are what we call a bubble or burn world. And all that means is if you don't have one of these up, some big bad guy is going to come along and he's going to turn you into a smoking hole in the ground. He's going to wound a lot of your troops. He's going to kill some of your troops. And he's going to take all the stuff that you worked so hard to get out of the ground. I don't know about you, but that's not very nice. But I also realize this is a war game. So this is your best defense from getting turned into a smoking, burning hole in the ground. There are some servers who will have periods of what we call an NAP, a non-aggression pact, or a no attacking players period. And during those periods, you are not allowed to attack a city or a sub-city. Some servers have those periods, some of them don't. You're going to have to pay attention to what the rules on your server is. Now, if you are on a bubble or burn world, like we are, then the problem becomes, how do I put one of these bubbles over my head 7 days a week? Because again, they're not giving them away. If we go back up here to the store and we look at the cost of what's involved here, in a week, in a 7-day period, you had 168 hours that you have to stay bubbled. If you decide to do that with 8-hour truce agreements, that's going to cost you 21 bubbles at 600 gems a pop. That's 12,600 gems. And if you really like math, that works out to about 75 gems an hour to put a bubble over your head using 8-hour truce agreements. If you use 24-hour truce agreements, then you only have to have 7. Those are going to cost you 1,000 gems a piece. That's 7,000 gems for a week. Now you've dropped your cost down to 41.6 gems per hour. So if you're going to use 3-day truce agreements, the problem is you're trying to cover 7 days and you got 9 days worth of bubbles. So that's going to cost you about 7,500 gems for 3 of them. That drops the price down to 34 and change gems per hour. And in 7 days, you're going to have 2 days left over. So it's a cost versus convenience issue that you have to decide how it fits into your play style. Again, if you're PvP and you are the terror of the server, you are going to go through these like crazy. Same way with these, if you're just a farmer, if you're just trying to fill your resources up, then you're going to use some of these, and you have to figure out which one of those, or is it a combination? You know, you may use 2 of these and then 1 of these in a week. It's up to you. I will caution you that you can stretch your value of this if you plan your activities. If you are getting ready to do some attacking because you thirst for blood, and it's a kill enemies event, if you're coming up towards the end of this 8-hour truce agreement and you have scouted out the bad guys, then you can wait till just before that bubble drops. Then you can, whatever style it is that you have. let your bubble drop, port to where your targets are. Whenever I do this, I try to have 4 or 5 targets within reach of where I port to. So when I spend that 2,000 gem advanced teleport, then I can hit 4 or 5 targets, hopefully making a profit, hopefully putting points on the board, and then I can telly to another spot, and I can do that again, telly to another spot, do that again, telly back home, have this truce agreement up, so that way I'm not wasting it. What you don't want to do, if you're a free-to-play beginning player like most of us are, you don't want to put this 8-hour truce agreement up and then in 45 minutes decide you want to do something. This is a long-term game, and you will be well advised to plan things out. Emotion does not win this game. Planning is going to win this game. So we've established what a bubble is. We've established why you need them. Now the big problem is, how in the heck are we going to pay for them? And one of the simplest and easiest ways, especially if you are a new player, is you can just harvest them. When you first start out, you're going to have one march. You're not going to have very many people that you can carry stuff with, and you are not going to be hauling home big donkey carts filled with gems. We're what are we? Keep 13, I think we are. Yeah, at Keep 13, we're not bringing home huge piles of gems. But when you are not actively on the game, send your marches out to work for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be gems. It could be, if you're trying to build a keep, keeps need stone, keeps need lumber. If you're trying to build troops, troops need food, troops need lumber. This is a resource management game, if nothing else, this portion of it. So when you're getting ready to go to bed at night, we see this donkey cart is returning back. This one has got 2 hours to go, and oh look, that one's at a gem mine. And we're down to the last 39 in this one. And then this one is at a gem mine, and we're down to the last 199, but we got a ways to go. We still got another 9 hours. I'm not going to be active in the game very much today. Why? Well, because I'm editing videos. I'm making stuff to help you guys out and help make you a better player, because if you're a better player, then your alliance is a better alliance, and then your server will hopefully be a better server, and then you can just go and, kick tail when it comes to server wars. So gather your gems. You will use stamina doing this, so be aware of that. You will get a stamina hit when you go to this mine, so you have to factor that in. So another way that we can gather these gems or get these gems into our bank is by our daily logins, which is run here out of the shrine. When you first log in the mornings, which is when most of us do, you're going to see a screen somewhat like this. And when it starts out, you will get 200 gems on the first day that you log in. If you can do nothing else in this game, spend 10 minutes in the morning to get your daily routine done, to start your daily activities. We cover that in some of the earlier basic videos. Because every day you're going to make 200 gems on the first day. And on the 7th day, you're going to get 1,000 gems. That's 1,200 gems for just showing up. And most of us are capable of doing that. And then throughout the week, there are other rewards that you get. On day 5, you're going to get a city teleporter, which is, I call it adventure mode. Teleports your city to a random location. It's, you just end up where you end up. So I don't see a lot of utility in those. Now, there is a way that you can make that a little bit better. And if you click on Shrine, and when you go to Offering, you are going to notice here it says Advanced Daily Rewards. And if we click on this chest, it's going to show us something very similar to our daily login. But it says you need to offer, it'll start out, it'll say 7 tributes or 6 tributes to have the next round of daily rewards upgraded. Well, the upgraded ones, day 1, is a 500 gem award. That's 300 more than I'm normally getting. The other thing that's very advantageous is on day 6, you're going to get an advanced city teleporter. And that teleports you to wherever you want to go. Instead of just being thrown to the wind, you get to tell your keep where you want it to helicopter into. And then on day 7, we get 1,000. Now, the way that you get these advanced rewards is you make an offering every day. The easiest way, and the way that's going to be available to you as a beginning player, is to offer gems. Now, I've already offered the first tribute. These are called tributes. You can offer a tribute coin, or you can offer gems. The first tribute costs you 25 gems. You can do whatever you want to do. We're all big boys and girls here. If you're just starting out and you don't have 2 nickels to rub together in your pocket, I would suggest you offer your 25 gems once a day for a week. And then the next week, you're going to start getting those advanced rewards throughout the week. That's a second way that you can get gems, and a way that you can kind of boost it up to make that a little bit of a better payoff with the extra gems that you get, as well as the advanced teleporter. Because advanced teleports, they're $2,000. They're not giving those things away. So what's another way that we can get these? And we're going to hit the consistent ways first. One of those is the wall. If you're in an alliance and you see somebody type gems on the wall or VIP on the wall, it would be down here. I'm not in an alliance right now, so I don't have an alliance chat. What they're talking about is here. This is your city wall. This is the wall that is referred to. And then this is the server gift. And if you'll notice up here, oh hey, what time is it? It's just after noon. I'm 5 hours behind server time. So at 5 p.m. server time, 100 VIP shows up every day. So if I was in Alliance, I would have seen somebody say VIP on the wall. Now at 11 o'clock server time, both AM and PM, server time, mind you, there will be 50 gems that pop up in that little server gift right there. I only get half of those because I'm dedicated to this game, but I'm not getting my big butt up at 5 a.m. in the morning for 50 gems. I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. Twice a day, you get 50 gems. That's 100 gems a day if the time works out for you. And then randomly throughout the day, at some point, 100 gems will pop up on the wall. That one I've not been able to establish any kind of schedule to. I think it just randomly shows up. So if you're in an alliance, pay attention to alliance chat. Somebody in there should notice when you see 100 gems, and they should post that up, gems on the wall, so everybody can get that. So you can potentially make 100 to 200 gems every single day. That's 1,400 gems that you might squirrel out of this wall here. Another way that we can get our gems is by doing the Monarch Competition. We've discussed this in a previous episode. The Monarch Competition is a series of events. Days 1 through 4, you're going to get a random event, and it could be resource gathering, it could be troop development, it could be city development, it could be power increase, it could be monster killing. And in that event, you are going to see, you're going to have some score levels. Now, again, I've just gotten up this morning. I'm not really in the bloodthirsty mood at the moment, so I don't have any points right now. But if I were to go out and become a ruthless bloodthirsty killer, for every level 1 troop that I decimate, I would get 2 points. A level 2 troop, I would get 4 points. And those points would stack up, and if I reached 66,180, I would get an email like this. This one says, "Congratulations, my liege, you reached the scores goal at stage 2 in the Monarch competition and received some rewards." So I have gotten to that second level during this particular Monarch competition. And I got 2 white material chests, and I got a 10-minute speed up, and I got 200k ore boxes. You know, we're not going to retire and leave this life of crime with the payoff like that. But on the third stage, you get gems. Monarch competitions happen as we've mentioned. You get days 1 through 4. So depending on your level is what your payout is going to be. I think the minimum is like 400. And so if you can just gather resources, which you're going to do anyways, for a day, dedicate your marches to doing that, and then you get a 450 gem payoff, put that in the bubble fund. You do that 4 times during the first 4 days of the Monarch competition, you can see that adds up. Now, on days 5, 6, and 7 is the kill event, and that is 1 block. So you don't get points for day 5 and then day 6 and then day 7. You get them for all 3 of them combined up. Some people don't like doing that, but you know, and that's okay. Some people really are in it for the kill event. So that's going to be 5, 6, and 7. And at our level, at Keep 13, if we were to get the number of requisite points just to get our scores rewards, this is not to place well in the event. This is just showing up and doing some work. Then we're going to get another 1,100 gems in that period. So you have the potential 22, 24, 2,800 gems, you know, depending on which events you choose to do or not. And that happens every week. So what's another way that we can get some stuff? It's another way we can get some gems. It's called Crazy Eggs. It doesn't run all the time. It'll run for a couple of weeks, and then it'll take a week off, and then it goes back and forth like that. If you're in this for gems, which is what we're talking about here, this is where you're at. You're at the 3 and the 12 hammer eggs, because if you open up a 3 hammer egg, you're going to get 200 gems. There's also a really good chance you're going to get an advanced city teleport in there as well, and you're going to get 10k Monarch experience. Not a bad deal for hammers. How do you get hammers? You get them from boss drops. That's where they come from. Now, the 12 hammer, you're going to get 1,000 gems when you crack that open. Now, there is a chance when you do this the first time that this is not going to activate, and you will get another chance to crack this open during the day. So you could potentially get 400 gems out of this. And if you're lucky or unlucky, depending on your point of view, the worst luck I have had when trying to activate all 4 of these is I had to crack this egg 5 times. So from the point of view of me trying to activate all of these, that was not a good day. But from a gem point of view, that was 1,000 gems right there. So this is something that you can do when that event comes up in order to get that done. Now, if you activate all 4 of those eggs, that's like another 2,000 gem bonus. If you are just trying to get gems, and that's the stage that you're at, that's all you're trying to do, then this is where you want to live, right here. And you can do this up to 4 times a day or more, depending on whether they activate or not. Another smaller source of gems is you can get this from your daily activities. And daily activities, it's not a huge payout, but if you get up to 145, it's going to open up that last chest and you get 100 gems. Now, you should be trying to do this every single day. And the reason you want to try to do that every single day is, first of all, This rounds your experience out. This makes you a much more diverse, gives you a more diverse development, and you're not just training troops. You're not just building stuff. You're having to do all kinds of stuff. But the biggest advantage of all of this is this key of conscription, because what that allows you to do is open up the general's chest in the tavern once a day. You can already open it every other day. This gives you a chance to open one every day. So if you do this consistently, one day you open one chest, the next day you open two. The next day you open one chest, the next day you open two. And that is how you get more general fragments in your inventory, but it's a source of gems as well. Now we're going to talk into some ways that are available when we get a little higher up a little higher up in our level. We're talking world boss here, and the world boss is way down here. Do you see this guy here? Let's see if we can zoom in on that just a little bit. This is where the world boss is, and this happens on the weekends. And if we scroll down here, then you're going to notice there's going to be a big scary looking monster here. And if we click on it, if you have 5 chances to attack him, the payout is 200 gems and 50,000 gold pieces for each attack chance. Now, how am I going to beat this guy? You don't. You just have to show up. You're not going to beat this. And unless your alliance is gung-ho and you're trying to get high up in the rankings, I don't even bother. This is not a max effort event. This is me showing up. That's what this event is. So we're going to go in here and we're going to hit the attack button, and I am going to reset this, and I'm going to take everything out of here, and I'm going to send one general. We can send him because he's going to go faster than any of my other guys. And then I'm going to send one troop. I'm going to send one mounted troop. Now, we're poor, so we're not rolling in the dosh here. We just don't have super deep pockets, so we're going to walk, and it's going to take us 48 minutes one direction. It's going to take us 3 seconds to attack this guy, and then we're going to take 48 minutes to walk back. And so you can see this is how long it's going to take him to get there. And how much damage is my one guy going to do? He's not going to do any damage. But what he is going to do is he is going to get us an award of 200 gems, and he's going to get us an award of 50,000 gold pieces. Now, after your 5th chance to attack him, you can buy another chance. And I would suggest that you take that first chance, because it's going to cost you 200 gems for the first one. But guess what? You make 200 gems back. So it's a wash on the gem front, and you get another 50k, and you get a little bit of experience. So again, we're all big boys and girls here. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to take my 5 chances. I'm going to buy a 6th chance. The next chance, the price increases. I think it goes up to 400 gems on the next one. So that is something that you're going to have to take into account. But if you're a beginner player, you're just trying to figure out how to get gems to buy a bubble, this is a great way to do it once you get high enough. I'm not quite sure if it's keep 11. If you're in an alliance, another source that you're going to have for gems is something called the Undead Invasion. And that is something that also happens on the weekends, and it's an alliance activity, and we'll do a separate video on that. But my point is, so if you're in an alliance, even if you are a young player, you're probably not going to do really well. But even if you just show up, your score for just showing up could be 30 gems, and that's 30 gems you didn't have to do a lot to earn. So, I think my first shot, my score was like 25,000. So I got 60 gems. Now, I hid all my siege machines. I sent them away so that they weren't affected in there. And I didn't have a lot of troops because I hadn't built up much of anything. I think at one point on another account, I was on like day 3, and this alliance is doing Undead Invasion, and I got smoked in the first 2 waves, but I got paid for it. So that's another way. And depending on how well your alliance does, if you're in an alliance and they're just killing it, then let's say your alliance scores 167 million points. Well, you know what? That's not a bad payout just for showing up. So, membership has its benefits. There are certainly advantages to being in an alliance. Another one of those is something down here we call it the Battlefield series. It'll be the Battle of Constantinople and the Battle of Gaugamela. Those have great payouts, but you have to be in an alliance that's ranked in the top 10 on the server, and they also have to invite you. If you're the FNG, then there's a really good chance they're not going to invite you. So later on, you'll get invited. Great gem rewards for these. There is another source of gems that you can get, and that is called server wars. There's an episode that we have done just on being a little guy and trying to survive server wars. So in server war, there are a number of different ways that you can get a gem award. If your server wins and you have enough points by participating, I believe the point total is 300,000. If you have enough points, if you get to the 300,000 point level here, then when your server wins, you get a cut of the prize pool, depending on what the percentage is of your effort. Now, some of these guys, you can see this guy here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 681 million points. So if I get 300,000 points, I'm not getting a huge percentage of that pool, but I am getting something. And you can reach the 300,000 level mark fairly easily if you are keep 15, because then you can find the Ares statues. That's kind of the mark for you to start getting up into here. You can hunt fire spirits all weekend long, but at 1,500 a pop, that's a lot of fairies to try to find. So that is one way that you can get gems from that. Even if your server loses, if you surpass that level, you'll get kind of a wah-wah prize for that. If your alliance does really well in the rankings, you can get a cut for that. If your alliance makes certain point milestones during the competition, you'll get like an iron server chest or a bronze server chest. And I think the gem awards in those start at like 2,000 a piece. Even if you don't do like this guy, like our character here, Nerve Herder, we looked for fairies like crazy, and we couldn't actually benefit from finding Ares statues, but we made some friends, because when we found out we couldn't get the points from those Ares statues, someone had been nice to me. And what I did was I sent the location of that Ares statue and said, hey, here he is, you guys come get him. I can't, but you were nice to me, so I'm going to be nice back to you. So I think we found 4 or 5 statues. So that's 500,000 points. That's kind of the way to make friends. But but this server, had we won, we would have gotten 300 additional gem mines on our server, and that just makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to walk as far. You don't have to spend as much time in transit to get those gems up. So that's all stuff that you can do from server wars, and those are fairly consistent ways that you can get gems in a fairly predictable rate. There are some one-time ways that you can get gems. If you join an alliance for the very first time you do that, you get 500 gems. But that's a one-shot deal. Sometimes EVONY will run Facebook events where they ask you to comment. Oh, see, here's a Monarch word. See, we got this Iron Server package because we had gotten 100,000 points in the server war. And does it? Yeah, it's not going to show us what's in there. Here we go. They were, I don't remember what the event was. Let's just say it was Happy Manhole Cover Day. EVONY has decided to add a new graphical element. We'd like to know what you think. We've added manhole covers, and they're designed to represent the shields of different alliances. I'm just making this up. So if you leave a comment and your player ID, eventually they will work their way down the list. And I got an email like this, and they gave 500 chips for use at the Wheel of Misfortune, and then I also got 500 gems, and that's all I did was type in a number. I didn't even say anything. So that's not a bad payoff for checking the Facebook page every once in a while. If we click on Shrine, we go to Poem of History. I somehow got hosed on this. I think it's because I joined this server late, because you'll notice on the start of the journey, upgrade my keep to level 6. Well, I obviously did that, but it tells me I didn't. And I got screwed on that one. Now, if I would have gotten that, I would have gotten 100 gems. And if I'd have done the next one, which I did, I just didn't get credit for it, I would have gotten another 100 gems. And when Fenrir started up, I would have gotten, this stuff. I didn't get any of that. So I'm not actually sure what's going on. Again, I think this may have to do with the fact that this was an older server when I joined on. If you're on a newer server, check that. You'll see there'll be like a little gold page that's glowing up here, and that might be an award that you have gotten. If you link your EVONY account to social media, you can hit the 3 dots, you can go to settings, you can go to account, and if you link your account, then it will credit you with 100 gems. It's a one-time deal, but that's all right. Also, rank advancement. If you advance up in rank, you will often get a gem award on that. Now, I am sure there are other ways that you can get gems. If you know of one, then hit me up in the comment section down beneath the sermon notes. Let us know any ways that you have found that you can consistently get gems, or even if they're just one-shot deals. Let us know. The last topic, we're going to hit this super briefly. What if I'm just starting out and I can't even afford a bubble? When you first create your account, you have a protective bubble. And if you don't scout anybody, and if you don't attack another player, that bubble will stay intact for a period of time. You will have that protection for a while. But if you don't, if you get to, let's say that you scout somebody, or you decide that you want to quench your bloodthirsty appetite, and you have attacked somebody and now you are without a bubble. How do you protect your troops until you can figure out a way to scrape up enough money to do that? Well, these troops are out gathering, and they are kind of protected. And I say kind of because you have to qualify this. These little squares are called tiles, resource tiles. And on most servers, if you have a troop that is in a tile, if you see a tile like this and there's a little flag there, You're not supposed to attack that on most servers. On some servers, it's total war, and everything is a fair target. Most of them, it's very difficult to grow on a server like that, and most of the ruling alliances on most of the servers understand that if you can't gather, you can't grow, and life's very difficult. So these on this server, tile hits, which is what this is called. This is a tile, and if you attack a tile, it's called a tile hit. Tile hits they're not allowed. It happens. You'll get people who, for whatever reason, will attack you. Sometimes they won't see this flag. This is a group that is going through the Undead Invasion, and you can see wave after wave after wave of zombies or ghosts, whatever you wish to call them, are attacking them. Now, if you were trying to mine, if you were trying to get into a resource tile, you might not see that little flag right there. So, in theory, you could mistakenly get there. But if you click on an occupied tile, you get the scout and you get the attack option. So, in my mind, and the minds of many, if you get attacked on this tile, it's because someone, either because of a language deficit, doesn't understand that you can't do that, or if they're not smart enough to know that you're attacking someone, because, let's click this again. So if we click this and we see this scout and this attack, if we go over here to detail, it tells us someone is in there. There's already a dude in there. So between that and between the fact that you have the scout and the attack option, if you attack a tile, you're just stupid. You don't care. Or on your server, it's allowed. So what you can do, and it's not without risk, is if you don't have a bubble, you can send a bunch of your troops to a tile, and so they're mining overnight. In this case, when we logged on, he still had 9 hours to go. I don't need a lot of beauty sleep because I'm already very pretty, but 9 hours would be enough for me to do that in. So you can hide your troops in resource mines, and they are, depending on your server, fairly well protected. So if you're really trying to hide some troops, you can see I'm all the way over here. If I want to, I could, if I'm getting ready to go to bed, I can pick this mine. And now I'm way far away to get over there just for fun. Let's hit occupy, and it will tell me it's going to take me and my herd of turtles 1 hour and 47 minutes to get over here. And if I pick a big big resource that has more than I could possibly harvest, then I could fill an entire march of troops up to go all the way over there. That's a way that I could hide my troops, so that if my keep did get attacked, I wouldn't lose all those troops. I would only lose the troops that were in the keep. And another thing that you can do, which depending on your server may or may not be without risk, is I can send troops to the keep, to my alliance city. Your alliance city can be attacked, and you may have to end up defending somebody, depending on what the rules are on your server. It doesn't happen a lot. I mean, I've not heard of it happen very much, but it can happen. A safer alternative is if you are in an alliance and you are just starting in and you don't have any money. You might hit this guy up, Leroy Jenkins, and say, hey dude, can I hide some troops overnight? I've got my plan in place. I'll have enough money so that I can start being bubbled tomorrow. or the next day, but can I hang out with you overnight? There's a really good chance someone in your alliance will say sure. And that way they are hidden underneath their bubble and they're protected. So that's a couple of different strategies that you can do to just kind of hide your troops overnight while you get your beauty sleep, which you may or may not need. So anyways, that's what we talked about. We talked about bubbles. We talked about what they were. We talked about the importance of them. We talked about ways to fund them with gems for the beginner. There may be another way that you can do that as part of an alliance, but we'll cover that at a later time. And we also talked about ways that you can kind of hide your troops, somewhat protected, depending on your server, until you are able to really start getting bubbled up. If you can take one thing away from this whole conversation that we've just had, it's the importance of a bubble. The bubble is life. It doesn't matter how big or how bad the biggest guy, the biggest bully on your server is. If you have a bubble, he can't touch you. He can't do anything. He can't attack your subs. Now, he could be a bubble, and he could hit your tiles, and he could hit your gem mine, and he could hit your relic, but he's not going to hit this. Bubbles are life. Learn that. And if you do, you're going to go a lot further with a lot less frustration in this game. Anyways, this is the Old Man Gamer Network. I'm Combat Carl. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Bubble up. Cheers. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today. Be sure and tap that thumbs up button if you think we've earned it. And be sure to hit the subscribe button and that little bell to be notified when new content comes out. Be sure to check out these other videos. And I'm Combat Carl for Old Man Gamer Network. You guys be sure to go straight home. No screwing around.